Russian soldier raises a shoulder-fired weapon into the sky. Seconds later, a missile locks onto its target, and there's nothing the pilot can do about it. No flare, no maneuver, no escape. This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now, in the skies over Ukraine. Its name is the 9K-333 Verba. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why military analysts are calling it one of the most dangerous portable weapons on the modern battlefield, and why the trick pilots have used for 40 years to survive missiles like this no longer works. Stick around, because the way this weapon defeats countermeasures is something most people don't know about yet. Something is changing in modern warfare. Not loudly, not with a single massive explosion, but quietly, in a narrow layer of air just above the battlefield. This is the low-altitude zone, where drones constantly buzz, where helicopters skim the terrain to avoid detection, where attack aircraft fly dangerously close to the ground just to survive. It's crowded, it's chaotic, and right now, it's becoming more deadly than ever. When the low-altitude sky becomes saturated with threats, one question rises above all others. Who actually controls it? The answer isn't found only in massive radar systems or long-range missiles anymore. Increasingly, the balance of power rests on weapons small enough to be carried by a single soldier. Portable air defense systems, known as MANPADS, have quietly become some of the most influential tools on the modern battlefield, and the Verba is now leading that shift. At first glance, it doesn't look revolutionary. It's compact, shoulder-fired, similar in appearance to earlier generations of portable air defense weapons. But what matters isn't what it looks like. What matters is what's inside it, and this is the part that changes everything. The Verba was built for one purpose: hunting targets flying low. Drones, helicopters, and tactical aircraft operating close to the ground. That's exactly what this system was designed to destroy. Here's what separates it from older systems, and why it matters more than you'd think. Traditional shoulder-fired missiles rely on a single infrared sensor, and for decades, that single weakness gave pilots one reliable answer: flares. Deploy a flare, confuse the seeker, escape. That trick has saved countless aircrews since the Vietnam era. It's the reason low-flying pilots have felt they had an escape plan. The Verba removes that escape plan. It uses a triple-spectrum seeker, scanning across ultraviolet, near-infrared, and mid-infrared bands at the same time. That's a major upgrade. It allows the missile to distinguish real aircraft from background noise and false targets far more effectively than older designs. In simple terms, aircraft that once believed they could survive by flying low and popping flares now face a much higher risk. The old playbook doesn't guarantee survival anymore, and the numbers make it worse. The Verba can engage targets up to roughly 6 kilometers away, with an altitude ceiling of around 4.5 kilometers. That might not sound dramatic on paper, but in modern warfare, that envelope covers nearly the entire operating zone of drones and helicopters, the exact altitude band where so much of this war is being fought. Now here's the part that should really concern any pilot or drone operator. Because a single soldier can carry it, the Verba isn't tied to a fixed position. It can be deployed quickly, repositioned easily, and hidden effectively, making it extremely difficult to track or suppress. But specs alone don't tell the full story. What happens when you put this weapon on an actual battlefield? That's where things get even more serious. Coming up next. So what does this mean for NATO? Evidence from Ukraine suggests this isn't a limited or experimental deployment. Open-source videos and battlefield imagery show Verba launchers appearing across multiple sectors of the front. Russian soldiers have been recorded carrying them near active combat zones, particularly in areas where drone activity is heaviest. There are also reports confirming Ukrainian forces have captured Verba units directly on the battlefield. That's significant. It confirms these systems are operating on the front line itself, not held back in rear positions as a reserve capability. While exact numbers remain unknown, past Russian deployment patterns give us a clue. MANPADS are typically distributed widely among infantry and mechanized units. That suggests the Verba is likely present across many critical sectors, covering supply routes, defensive lines, and zones where aerial reconnaissance poses the greatest threat. For NATO planners watching this conflict, the implication reaches beyond Ukraine's borders. Any future scenario involving low-flying aircraft, attack helicopters, or reconnaissance drones now has to account for a missile that traditional countermeasures struggle to defeat. But the real question is, how is this actually changing what Ukraine can and can't do on the battlefield? That's next, and it's bigger than you might expect. For any drone or helicopter operating at low altitude, the danger is now constant and unpredictable. For Ukraine specifically, this presents a serious operational challenge. Ukrainian forces rely heavily on drones for surveillance, artillery correction, and precision strikes. Every drone lost is more than just equipment destroyed. It's lost vision, lost awareness, lost time on the battlefield. When drones are forced to fly higher or alter their routes to avoid threats like the Verba, their effectiveness drops immediately. And when they fly low to complete their mission, they enter the most dangerous zone of all. The threat isn't limited to drones, either. Helicopters and low-altitude support aircraft face the same increased risk. Missions that once depended on terrain masking and speed now have to account for a portable missile that can appear almost anywhere. This is one major reason manned low-altitude aviation has become increasingly rare in contested areas of this war. The sky has simply become too dangerous to fly low and survive. As a result, Ukraine has been forced to adapt. Long-range drones are being used more frequently. Disposable drones are sent on high-risk missions where losses are already expected. And electronic warfare has become more important than ever, an attempt to disrupt targeting and guidance systems before a missile like the Verba ever gets a lock. These adaptations show how a single technology can reshape tactics across an entire battlefield. And here's what makes this weapon even harder to deal with. It isn't static. It moves with infantry units, using terrain, buildings, forests, and urban cover to remain concealed. Abandoned structures, trenches, and elevated ground all become potential firing positions. That mobility makes the system extremely difficult to counter, and it ensures low-altitude airspace remains dangerous at all times, not just during major offensives. So where does all of this lead? Stay with me for the final piece, because this changes how we should think about the entire war. Control of low-altitude airspace has become one of the defining factors of this war. While systems like the Verba can't decide the conflict on their own, their cumulative impact is undeniable. They restrict movement, they raise risk, they reduce operational freedom for both drones and aircraft. Combined with larger air defense systems, they help create an environment where air superiority is never guaranteed for either side. This reflects a broader reality of modern warfare. Drone combat now dominates daily operations. Artillery depends heavily on aerial correction. Small units fight intense, localized battles where information and timing decide everything. And air defense, layered, mobile, and increasingly precise, shapes nearly every decision made above the ground. This conflict is not static. It's constantly evolving. And the appearance of systems like the Verba shows exactly how quickly that balance can shift. Modern wars are no longer just about overwhelming force. Increasingly, they're about denial, denying information, denying access, and denying the illusion of safety, even at the lowest altitudes. This video is intended for educational and analytical purposes only. It does not support violence or promote any side. All information is based on publicly available, open-source analysis, aimed at providing an objective view of modern military developments. Ultimately, dialogue and diplomacy remain the only lasting solutions to conflict. If you made it this far, you already know this channel goes deeper than most. That's what NeuroIntelE is about. Clear, in-depth analysis of the technologies reshaping modern warfare every single week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And speaking of next, we're going even bigger. Coming up on NeuroIntelE, Russia's Satan II, the missile NATO hopes it never has to face. You will not want to miss that one.